Hi, could you use a tool that can help you to improve your classroom management or your counseling effectiveness? And could you use that tool if it was easy and very simple to understand? Well, I have just the tool that you need. It's called WDEP, W-D-E-P. It was actually created by Dr. William Glasser of the Reality Therapy Institute. But the good thing about what I'm going to share with you today is not just how to use the handout, but maybe some different ways that you hadn't thought about using WDEP in the classroom, because that's where we have most of our difficult student behavior. Hi, my name is Dacia Moore. I'm president of Second Wind Counseling and Consulting. And the reason that I'm sharing these tools with you, I'm going to do one every month. So please be sure to sign up for my confidential free e-newsletter. Most of you are linked to this YouTube video from that newsletter. If you were not linked from the newsletter, then you need to go to my website, secondwindcc.com, to download the handout that was created by one of our colleagues, the WDEP handout, because you need that, and that will actually help you. That is the tool itself. This is a tutorial on how to use the WDEP worksheet that you need to download. All right, so I'm going to talk to you about just the basics of WDEP. You may already know it, but we're just going to review it. And then number two, I'm going to share some ways to use it that might be a little bit more creative than what you had originally thought. Since we have so much classroom disruption these days, I have thought about and developed with some other teachers a number of ways to use the WDEP handout. So just real quick, WDEP, W-D-E-P, stands for W. The W stands for what do you want? And again, we are asking students questions. This is not a lecture format. These are questions that we're asking students in their private time with us. Maybe they're going to visit with you after class or whatever. But W is, what do you want? What we're looking for, the answer we're looking for is a pro-social goal. All right? A pro-social goal. I want to finish school. I want to pass the 10th grade. I want to get on the drill team. Something that they want. And then the D stands for, what are you doing? What are you doing? A great Dr. Phil question. Is it working for you? Is your behavior in line with what you say you want? If the student is in front of you, most likely that is not the case. So then what you want to do is have a conversation between what you say you want and what are you doing, because your behavior and your words are not congruent. Now, classroom teachers, I am not asking you to become a counselor here. It really doesn't matter why they're doing what they're doing. So avoid the question, why do you keep da-da-da-da-da? Why do you keep disrespecting me in class? It doesn't matter. What do you want? I want to pass the 10th grade. What are you doing? I keep being disrespectful to you. All right. What we're looking for is for them to be reflective about their behavior and take responsibility for it. Right? Taking responsibility for their behavior, because a great question that you need to ask is, who's responsible for your behavior? Who's responsible for your behavior? Of course, the answer is, I am. Can I change anybody else? No. Can you change the biology teacher? No. The only person you can change is you. So is what you're doing getting you what you want? I'm sure you kind of get that. All right. E is the evaluation. That's where you have the conversation about, okay, what you're doing is not getting you what you want. And we can go into deep therapeutic discussions about why, but that's really not the appropriate time or place. So if what you're doing is not getting you what you want, then we go to P, come up with a plan. All right? So we're asking questions. W, what are you doing? Or what do you want? I'm sorry. D, what are you doing? And that is behavioral. You're asking them for specific behavior. E is the evaluation. We want them to have a discussion about the difference between the W and the D. We want them to evaluate the fact that their D, their doing, their behaving, is not going to lead them to their W, their wanting. Sometimes I even use a crossroads picture to show them that your behavior is taking you away from what you want. But we want them to evaluate the difference between the W and the D. You understand what I mean? And then the P question is, what can you do? What can you do to move closer to what you say you want, putting responsibility on that student. So that's what the WDEP stands for. What do you want? What are you doing? Very behavioral terms. I am disrespecting you in class. I keep walking out of class. The E is what you're doing getting you where you want? Have them answer that question. Well, no, da 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 da. Where, and you could do a follow-up question. What is the most likely conclusion of what you're doing? Where is that going to lead you? Get them to think about what their behavior is leading them to. And then P is come up with a plan. I want you to suggest some things that you can do to move toward what you want. Have them come up with a plan. The plan needs to have 3 components. Number 1, it needs to be short term. Number 2, it needs to be measurable. And number 3, you have to reinforce it. You have to notice when they are working their plan. So you can't just have them come up with a plan and file it. You have to pay attention to it because that reinforces the positive behavior that you want to see. Now, here are some suggestions on how you can use the WDEP handout in the classroom. Number 1, you can use it as a lesson. The first 10 minutes of each class, you can have a social emotional lesson. You can actually pass out the handout and ask them what do they want and what are they doing. It could be a goal setting time. It could be a thought provoking time. It doesn't have to be, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. It could be what are you doing now to move you in that direction. You could use this, of course, on a one-on-one conversation with a student in a counseling setting. Of course, that's what it was created for. You could also use this in a parent-teacher conference meeting. Have it be student-led and have the student put down what they want and then what they're doing and evaluate it and then come up with a plan to do better. Really, you could use this with some parent involvement groups. You can ask the parents, what do they want? Not so much what are they doing, I guess you could ask them that, but then you want them to come up with a plan on how they could maybe support their child in doing more of what the child wants to do. So those are some ways that you can use the WDEP handout. Again, you can go to secondwindcc.com to download the handout. Please sign up for my confidential monthly newsletter because I'm going to have video tips every month on a different tool that will help you. So by the end of the school year, you will have a number of new tools or tools that you were reminded of in your toolbox. Let me know what you thought of this really down and dirty YouTube video. Was it helpful? Did you like it? Did you not like it? I'd like to get your feedback for the next one. Until then, be a winner and finish strong.